everyone, welcome to our video for our tutorial for our mini album. Now, as you can see, it's pretty blank, right? I wanted to show you how to make the form for the mini album. You can make this form at home out of just simple paper that you have at home, which makes it so much easier. You don't have to search the craft stores or the internet or whatever in order to try and buy the right form and the right size and everything else. So you can make this at home, and you can make as many of them as you want, so you always can be able to make your own mini albums right from scratch. So the paper that I used is actually the same paper that I use to print the actual paper on, like the pattern papers and the elements and that kind of stuff. So it's that thickness. Now, if you think, well, I'm not sure if that's going to be thick enough, I want something maybe a little heavier, just what's going to end up happening is I'm going to paste my pattern paper on top of here. Before you start making this, take 2 pieces of printed pattern paper or 2 pieces of blank sheets, whatever, put them together, see what you think. See if you think that's thick enough. If not, you could make this from white cardstock. So that's for the paper, what to use, that's kind of where you want to be at. So, as you can see, I put it all together already because I think it's a little easier to show for you. Basically, let's just open this up here for a sec. Let's move some stuff out of the way. The basic form, we're going to ignore this. This is an opening that I'm going to put a waterfall into. So let's just open it up so that we can see what's going on here. But basically, you have 3 pieces of paper and 2 spines. That's going to make your mini album, your basic mini album. So each spine is 1.5 inches wide and 6 3/4 inches tall. Okay? This centerpiece is 6 3/4 inches square. This left side front is 6 3/4 inches tall, 5 3/4 inches wide. And this one is 6 3/4 inches tall and 5 inches wide. So when you fold it up, and I'll put a magnet in here so it'll close nicely. You could use ribbon, obviously there's all sorts of things you can do. I'll probably end up putting a magnet in here. But when you close it up, you can see there is a bit of an overlap there. I kind of like that. Maybe you don't want the overlap, so you could just shrink this down by this 1/2 inch, because obviously, or 3/4 of an inch, sorry, these 2 are 3/4 of an inch difference. You could make these 2 the same size if you wanted to. Okay? So, for the inside, for the waterfall, let's go back to this here. When you glue this together, you want to glue these cover pieces, you want the spine to go over top of it. And the reason is when you end up with a 1/2 inch spine, so with your spines, you score it at 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and 1/2 inch. So again, each spine is 3/4 of an inch, the piece of paper is 3/4 of an inch wide by 6 3/4 inches tall. And then when we score it at 1/2 inch intervals, that gives you the spine so that you have some thickness to it so that you can actually add things to the inside, your photos, all that kind of stuff. When you glue it together, as you can see, you want the spine to be glued on top of this. So that way when we put our piece of paper on here, we actually cover up the spine. We don't, we won't see it from the end here, because we are going to put a piece of paper here on the spine as well and things like that. So I think that's the basic for making your basic form, okay? Now when you get into the inside, for this particular one, I've chosen to go with an opening pocket. This is magnetized, okay? And you glue this together, as you can see. I'll flip it over. You glue this on to the back. Again, I'm gluing it on top of my back sheet. So that way when I put my pattern paper, I'm covering up all these seams, okay? In order to make this, the bottom piece here is, let's flip around, is 5.5 inches tall and 6.5 inches wide, okay? And then we score it at 1/2 inch, okay? So we always have a 1/2 inch fold over. So your finished piece will be 5 inches by 6.5, okay? For the top piece that folds down, this is 4.5 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide. Again, we score at 1/2 inch so that we have that gluing strip and the fold over. And so our finished is 4 inches by 6.5 inches. Make sense? When we open this up, I have waterfall pieces already cut, okay? So the waterfall is going to go in here. Again, each of these pieces is 4.5 inches tall, okay? With a 1/2 inch. You don't have to have a 1/2 inch, but I like a little bit more of a gluing strip. That way people don't pull it apart or whatever. But I've left a 1/2 inch here for my gluing strip. 4.5 inches tall total, including the gluing strip, by 6 inches wide. So these are all going to go in here. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So when the waterfall happens, and you'll see that once I show you the finished item, right? These are all going to get glued in here. So then that way your waterfall will have 8 sides to it in order to put photos, journaling areas, whatever it is. That gives you a pretty significant number of areas in order to do this. Now you'll see as well when you see the finished album, I'm going to do some other things on these pages. Maybe a little pocket or things like that. I actually haven't designed the album out yet. I just got the form built for right now. But I'll show you all those obviously when I come back and with the completed album, and I'll explain those. But I wanted just to show you this short part of the video to show you exactly how to make this form so that you can make it at home, and you can always make these at home. Then all you do is you can vary this. You don't have to have a waterfall in here. You could do whatever you wanted in here. Maybe you wanted a pocket with a pull-out. Maybe you wanted a side pull-out so that the way you glue down the papers, you can slide something out on the side, things like that. So the variations are endless, but the basic form, you now have all the tools you need in order to make your basic form. So I'll see you soon when she's all finished. Hi everyone, I'm back. Look at how that was such a short time that it took me to do this, wasn't it? Aren't you amazed at my speed and deftness in doing this? Here is the mini album. For those of you that don't know, we are using our Lovin Life collection in terms of building this mini album. And this is now the form that is completely done. So on the face here, I've used our stationery back, which comes in the FQB Lovin Life collection, and just shrunk it down a little bit so that it made the flowers come into view for this page here. I've put this Good Times logo. This comes in the kit as well, already pre-made for you. You don't have to do anything. You just print it out, size it properly for yourself. If you need some help on sizing things, you'll see that video in our other how-to videos on our YouTube channel here. And I did put a magnet in there, so this is magnetized when it closes up. And here it is, folks. Ta-da! What do you think? So on this page here, I've created a pocket. I'll slide that out first. Again, just using background papers from the entire bundled collection. I've used papers from the FQB. I've used paper from the 2 additional paper pack. And this is the reason for we create these additional paper packs and element packs, is because when you're doing something this large, you certainly don't want to have repeats and things like that. You want to be able to do things differently on each page. So I've created a pocket here by just simply gluing down the outer edge of this piece of paper that I printed and cut out, so it can accommodate this beautiful card. This journal card comes right for you in the kit. I did nothing to it. This is exactly the way it is. So it has a recap of great times, moments we've shared, the date, visit with friends and family, and then a journaling area. And that just slides nicely into this pocket here. And these 3 arrow tags, again, completely done for you. They have all this on here. Great times together. So many great moments begin with you. And this one happens to be blank. All of those I just simply resized. I put them up on sticky foam dots, so it gave it a little dimension, which is quite nice. I like that. And that's how that page came together. The back cover page, well, let's kind of go back a little bit here. The only thing I did on the front here is this Loving Life. That is a digital stamp that comes in the kit. Now what I did with it is I actually put the stamp onto the paper when I'd resized it, and then printed it all as one. So it's already printed on there when you print out the paper. There's nothing else to do with it. And that's the nice thing about the digital stamps. That's how you can utilize those easily. Again, another floral paper, beautiful florals. This kit has so much to work with. I've only used, I didn't even use a half of this kit in terms of the entire bundle in creating this mini album. There is so much I didn't use. Beautiful florals though, and you'll see them come up in different colors here as we move along. On the back page here, again, this tag comes in the FQB Lovin Life collection. Already done for you. It's clustered, it's everything. Now we have a Cricut machine, so I did use the Cricut to cut it out, and as you can see, it cuts it out very, very well. And then in the back side, I've created a pocket folio, so you can see the paper there and everything else. Again, a beautiful paper. This is actually a solid background paper, and this is what we call our corner clusters. So again, the corner cluster is like a stamp in that it's opaque behind it. So I layered that onto this paper, printed it out as one, and there you have it. I've basically, in essence, created my own paper, my own custom paper there. This photo folio, how this works is, I wanted a little bit more. This mini album is actually made for a special purpose, and I'm not going to say too much in case this person is watching this video, but this is actually made for someone, and so I haven't included photos yet or things like that, but I wanted, we had a lot of photos on moments that we shared together, and I wanted to have lots of places for photos in here. So on this front cover, again, I used a beautiful floral, very similar to this one. This one is a teal color, and this one is actually the floral in blue, and I shrunk it down so that the flowers were about the right scale for what I was using. This tag here, this white tag, is actually a tag all separate to itself, and I pasted that down on top of the paper. So this wonderful life, and then there's a photo area or a journaling area right here. I'll probably use it for a photo. Inside, here's how we use the film strips. Again, we have a Cricut machine, so this cut it out for me. And when I pasted it down to the paper, I did leave, let's see if we can get that. I did leave this end open so that I can slide the photos in there, and then I could adhere that down at the end or whatever, but just for now. The Love and Life and Smile, the camera's back. Beautiful again. So interesting. It gives you such difference between just a simple back and then something that's has a little more accoutrements to it, I guess, a little busier pattern. This is a great photo spot, right? And all of these are basically 4x6. So can you imagine the size of photos you can put in here? You can put in great size photos. And then the back has just a simple tartan paper. The Picture Perfect Day, again, comes to you in the bundled pack. I can't remember. I think this is actually in the Lil Bits, so if you're trying to find it. And this white frame actually comes to you in the kit. This is in the FQB, and again, when I glued it down, I've left this side open so that I can slide my photo in there. But you actually get the picture frame, and here's a great use for it. So we'll slide this guy back in here. So that goes in like so. And in the center, well, we needed something with a little bit more pizzazz, so I've done a waterfall. So in the center, let's see if we're in camera view here. Let me slide this up a little bit. So as you can see, again, here's this floral paper. How beautiful these florals are. The only thing, you just shrink it or leave it as is based upon the size of that cluster. That's when I'm talking about shrinking papers to fit. You don't want to shrink it to fit exactly this unless that's what you like. What I'm looking for is to make the scale so that on this size of a paper, how does that look? Does that look about right to me? And most of these I've scaled them down by about 30%, roughly speaking. That's just a rough generic thing. This tag, thank you for all the fun. Again, included in the kit for you. I didn't do anything, that comes just like that. You just print it out, cut it out, and away you go. So in the waterfall, again, how nice to have the waterfall and have so many areas for photos. I can put 2 in here. I wanted it nice and large, so I could either put 2 photos or 1 large one if it's a group photo, that kind of thing. On this side, again, a simpler paper, but look at this frame. It's got the heart on it. It says good times, love this life, and smile, the florals. Again, I've left this side. I don't know if I can get my nail. Yeah, I've left this side open. I didn't glue it down so I can slide the photo in after. But what an amazing element. Like, imagine that with the photo actually in it. Like, you know, that is going to be stunning. Again, a simpler page in a coral color. And I've actually even finished off the bindings and the what's the word I'm looking for? Come on, people, help me out here. I've finished out these edges here and these bindings so that they're not covered as well, so that they are covered and not showing. Here's that floral again. I just can't get away from the florals. I really love them in this kit. And this is in the green. It's a good day. Another fantastic paper. Look at the amount of papers and the unbelievable variety that you get in here. Here's a blue floral. Now this one, I didn't shrink. I simply placed that on there and thought, oh, I love it because it has such large flowers. And in order to be able to put in a photo in here, that I thought it looked just fantastic, right? Again, a nice, beautiful hearts paper, like kind of leaf-looking heart type things, and the back. So there is the waterfall, and as well, this is magnetized. I don't know if you heard the click or not, but that's magnetized in there too. And again, remember when you're gluing down your magnet, you glue down the magnet first to the card form, then put your paper over top. Make sure that you, so that way you have everything going together, right? And lastly, on the back, here is another big journal square. Again, this one, instead of just pasting it on, being that it's the back, I didn't want to have anything to catch if somebody was moving it around. So this one, I layered onto the page. I took my background paper, I put this on top of it, printed it as one. So it looks like it is layered on there, just due to a little bit of shadowing that I added, but it isn't. It's just printed on top. So there is the completed mini album, and I think it turned out just wonderful. I hope that you guys will try this. The mini album is so much fun to make. You know, it does take a little bit more time. This probably took me about a full day of planning and pasting it in and everything else once I had the form, as I showed you in the beginning part of the video. But this is fantastic. I hope you'll give it a go, and I really hope you'll come to our store and check out the Love and Life Bundle collection. It is something else. There is so much in it, and like I said, there's even more that I didn't use. And I'll show you this just at the end here. There's all these little tags that I'm going to include, again, because I didn't put the photos in my waterfall and in that little photo folio that was in the back paper, or in the back page, back pocket. Look at all these things. Laughter shared together, life is sweet, love this life. These things here look like those old time, remember that punch that you used to have, and you'd turn it to the right letter, you'd punch it, and it'd spit it out on that tape, and then you could tape it on things, the old letter maker. That's what these kind of look like. And I've just printed those out in the size, again, in the scale that I'll need, and I have them as extras so that as I put in the photos, I can match something up to it and put those in as well. Thanks again for tuning into the video. I hope you found it helpful in terms of showing how to make the form, and I hope you loved how beautiful this mini album turned out. I hope you'll give it a try yourself. Thanks again. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought of this video and what you thought of our mini album. And once you're subscribed to our channel, you'll be sure to be made aware of any new videos that we have, whether it be projects like this or new kit releases. Thanks again, and happy crafting.